What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode. I'm Swipa. Y'all know what time it is. Welcome back to the building. Y'all, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. We are on the way to 10,000 subscribers. We are moving and grooving, trying to make it happen. So, I got to be honest with y'all. I watched the game yesterday just like you did. I was living my life yesterday just like you were. And I happened to be scrolling on Twitter. I happen to be doing my little daily updates of what's happening around the NBA. And I ran into some really interesting information. And so I have a subscription to The Athletic. So because of that, I get to see everything. I get to watch everything. I get to kind of pay attention to what's happening around the NBA, NFL, NHL, all that stuff. I just love sports. So when this happened, I'm over here. I see a Embiid article dropped, right? And I'm like, oh, cool. You know, a player that I have said multiple times this year, I think he might be the best player in the East this year. Giannis has come up, obviously. So they're the two best players. Embiid's having a great season. And so I'm over here like, cool. Man, let me see what this is about. And so I opened up the article. And I thought it was really interesting for multiple reasons. One, Shams started asking Embiid some questions about himself, started asking Embiid some questions about his season, and then he started asking Embiid about the MVP race and expectations and pressure. And instead of Embiid just simply answering the questions in a manner of, here's how I feel, this is what I think about the Philadelphia 76ers, this is how I feel about myself this year with everything we got going on, instead of doing that, he decides to take it another way. So I'm going to bring my Twitter up and show you exactly what I showed the NBA Twitter yesterday and what blew up on the entire internet. So here are pieces of the article that got everybody up in arms. Here is the part of the article that got everybody up in arms. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to maximize the screen. We can read it, and then we can talk through it one by one. So Embiid was asked by Shams. The question is, Giannis Antetokounmpo recently told The Athletic he believes the MVP criteria is ever changing year to year. Embiid then says, the criteria does change. If we want to talk about the last 3 years since I've been in the running for it, the first year it was that I didn't play enough games. Last year I came back. I played enough games. I led the league in scoring, and obviously Nikola deserved it, and he won it. Now, hold on, y'all. Stop right there. Stop right there. If Embiid would have stopped right there and said that, you know what, the criteria does change. I led the league in scoring last year. I didn't play enough games the year before that. And then if we were just to be like, you know what, let's just go ahead and end it there and say that Jokic earned that MVP. And we could have just kept it moving. But that's not what happened. So let's read the rest of this. What does Embiid say? But then again, he won it as the 6th seed in the West. And then this year, I'm leading the league in scoring. I'm doing all of these things defensively. I should be making an all-defensive team too. I don't care. But every year is something. And when you add analytics into it, which don't make sense, you can talk about analytics all you want. When you got some guys in the league, the eye test tells you they're not good defensively, but analytics, they tell you they're the best defenders. That's when analytics don't make sense at all. I don't make the rules. I don't choose whatever criteria that they use. So it's really about whatever people's preferences are. Wow. Did y'all hear that? You can talk about analytics all you want, which don't make sense. You got some guys that tell you the eye test they're not that good defensively, but analytics will tell you they're the best defenders in the NBA. Curiouser and curiouser. Who might Joel Embiid be referencing right there? So, again, I'm telling you right now, I read this yesterday morning. I'm ready for the Denver Nuggets to take on the Philadelphia 76ers. I was on Twitter telling folks there's 5 televised games for the Nuggets this week. It's going to be the Bucks, which is going to happen on a Saturday, Embiid and the 76ers on Monday, the Pelicans on a Wednesday, the Warriors, and then they're going to play against the Suns. The Suns on Friday, then the Warriors on Sunday. So I was anticipating an elite level matchup between 2 of the 3 best players in the NBA so far in this regular season. But what I wasn't expecting was that Embiid was going to go out of his way in an interview when asked about the MVP criteria. As you can see right here in front of you, he was not asked about Nikola Jokic. He was asked about the criteria changing. And instead of Embiid just telling you his side of that story, he decided to drag Nikola Jokic's name into the mud without actually saying his name. Because he brings up the fact that Jokic won it as a 6th seed. He brings up the fact that Jokic deserved it. But then he couldn't leave it there. He had to bring up some stuff about being bad on defense and analytics painting a story that didn't actually exist. My whole thing is, Joel Embiid, why do you keep insisting on bringing Nikola Jokic's name up? So that's the first one. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, however you choose to identify, let me tell you this right now. It doesn't stop there. Because at this point in time, Embiid couldn't even help himself. Because now Embiid feels that if he's going to go ahead and let it out, he might as well get it all out. So let me go ahead and share this here. Check this out. So again, the question is asked to Joel Embiid by Shams. Do you go into this postseason with a title or bust mentality? Embiid then answers, not necessarily. I don't care about the pressure that everybody puts on me. All I care about is the pressure that I put on myself to win. People have been talking about who has the most pressure to win. People want to mention me. Fine. He could have stopped right then and there. But he doesn't. He says, people want to mention me. I'm not at the top of that list. So before we keep reading, he says that why are people putting pressure on me? I'm not at the top of that list. So he just starts going off, then I only put pressure on myself. I don't care about what other people say about me. And you could have ended it right there. But then what he does, he digs in deeper. And he says, wait a minute, let me ask you a question. Why is there pressure on me? Now let's get to it. People want to mention me. I'm not at the top of that list that you should be asking this question to. I'm not a 2-time MVP. I've never made first team All-NBA. I've never won anything. So why is there pressure on me to do something when there are guys that have won 2 MVPs, a bunch of MVPs, and haven't done anything either? Do you hear what he is saying? I'm not the 2-time MVP. I wonder who is. I've never made first team All-NBA. I wonder who has. I've never won anything. Why is there pressure on me to do something when there are other guys that have won 2 MVPs, a bunch of MVPs, and haven't done anything either? Now, here's my first question. There's only one player in the NBA that's won multiple MVPs currently that doesn't have a championship. That's Nikola Jokic. There's no player in the NBA that's won a bunch of MVPs that doesn't have a championship, because that player is LeBron James, who has 4 MVPs. So Jokic, if he wins a 3rd this year, he's going to be qualifying for a bunch of MVPs because he's going to have 3 to his name. Curry, Durant, Giannis, no one else. Harden, no one else. Westbrook, no one else is going to be able to make that claim to have a bunch of MVPs other than Nikola Jokic if he wins this season, which I've said all year that he should. I said what it was going to take, triple-double, first team in the West and dominance, and he done it. And I stand on it, and I've been saying on it that he's been the best player. I can put the numbers up and I can show you. They're 47-19 when he played this season. Only Giannis Antetokounmpo has a better win percentage, by the way, in less games. So this is the conversation we are now having. Jokic has played 67 games this year, 25, 12, and 10 on 70% true shooting, and leads the NBA in raw plus minus. Leads the NBA. Analytics, sure, they're all on his side. But why don't you just deal with the fact that Jokic is shooting 67% from 2, 39% from 3, 82% from the line, and he's doing it on 15 shots a game while being arguably the best playmaker in basketball. So Embiid decides that instead of just simply answering the question, he wants to invoke the two-time MVP, who he's lost the first team All-NBAs to, who he's lost the MVPs to, who this year, not just because of Jokic's on-court play, but because of his actions and because of him running his lips, now folks might be kicking Embiid out that conversation. Now, why do you say that? Let me tell y'all what happened. A series of unfortunate, and some may say fortunate events. What happens? Joel Embiid has this article drop the morning of the 76ers Nuggets game on March 27th. The anticipated Denver Nuggets and Philadelphia 76ers game. So what happened was we get about 3 or 4 hours after this whole thing, and everybody is like, oh, bruh, everybody ante up. It's about to be the showdown of the year. You thought game number 1, January 28th was a big deal? You thought Giannis and Jokic was a big deal? Well, you best ante up because you're about to get a real dog fight. Because Embiid is chirping, Embiid is talking, and by the way, this ain't the first time. Months ago, Ramona Shelburne came on the jump on ESPN, on NBA Today, came on ESPN, and she said that Joel Embiid asked her directly, is Nikola Jokic going to play in the January 28th Philadelphia 76ers Denver Nuggets game? And she said she believes so. He asked her that months before the game happened. And then, last Friday, the Golden State Warriors beat the Philadelphia 76ers, and I'm on the app on Twitter. 46-9-8 for Joel Embiid. He was a plus 13 in the game. They lost by 8 points, I believe. Great game. Do you know what Joel Embiid did? Right after the game, on the basketball court, after taking an L, after having one of his maybe 5 or 6 best games of the year, Embiid decides to walk up to Draymond Green after taking this L, after playing, when Nikola Jokic is not on the court. He says to Draymond Green, you said last playoffs, after a playoff series, that Nikola Jokic was the toughest guard you have in the NBA. I took offense to that, meaning I wanted to show you that I'm an even tougher guard than Nikola Jokic. And so Draymond Green goes to the press conference, goes to the podium, gets a microphone, and he says that Embiid just said this to me as we're walking off the court. Now he's laughing about it. But me, I'm looking at him like, wait a minute. And I share this on Twitter. That's interesting. Now, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be the best. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be known as the best. There's nothing wrong with even wanting to be the dominant force in the NBA. But you're telling me that after a loss, the first thing that you were clearly thinking about before the game, you were clearly thinking about during the game, and you were clearly thinking about after the game, you telling me that you asked Draymond Green about the back-to-back MVP because you have been channeling that? That's just interesting to me. Again, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be the best, but like some of y'all were saying, why would you bring up Joker? Why is he that important to you? So again, that's twice publicly, twice now that we know that he's asked about him. And then let's move on to the article. Again, for the third time since January, we have public comments from Joel Embiid about Nikola Jokic. And this time, it was a sneak diss. This time, it was a slight. Because once again, I'm going to pull it up for you. I don't care about the pressure everybody puts on me. People want to mention my name. I'm not at the top of that list. I'm not a two-time MVP. I've never made first-team All-NBA. I've never won anything. So why are y'all putting pressure on me to do something when that man over there with 2 MVPs hasn't done anything either? Because there's nobody else to talk about with 2 MVPs that ain't won a ring in the league right now. So you clearly talking about Joker. My whole thing is, Embiid, if you're the best, if you think you're the best, if you think you're the most dominant, if you think you're the best center, then why are you asking everybody else about this man? Why are you bringing up another man in another conference at the top of his West? Why are you bringing him up in the conversation? So this is what I'm trying to understand. And then after all that talking, you decide, and the Sixers decide, that the game in Denver ain't that important. And so you decide that you ain't going to play. The Sixers decide that you ain't going to play. Now, again, let me keep it 100. If Embiid is hurt, Embiid is hurt. 3 games in 4 nights, that's real. 3 games in 4 nights, that's real. I get it. No, props to you. Embiid having an incredible season. And I said before the year, all Embiid need to worry about is playing 50 games this year, getting to the playoffs 100% with gas in the tank, ready to rock and roll. That's it. But that's not what he's doing. He's hunting for the MVP. How we know he's hunting for the MVP? Because he's made comment after comment after comment about it. Despite the fact that he'll say, I don't care about it, you keep bringing it up. And you keep bringing Joker up. And every time you say you don't care about it, you keep bringing it up. Now, I don't care about this, but here's where it goes. Now, let me pull it back up again. Now, all I care about is the pressure I put on myself to win. But while I'm at it, why don't you ask that man over there with 2 MVPs? Huh? I don't care about the pressure you put on me. Why don't you pressure to him? Wait, what? Don't make no sense to me. Look, I grew up playing football. I played college football. I understand mano. If I feel a type of way, we finna lace them up. We finna get at it. All game. Straight up. All game. I'm finna be on you. All game. I play linebacker, bro. So you step up in the hole, it's a wrap. You come across the middle, it's a wrap. You do a bubble screen, you do a now screen, hey, let's go. You alive and you've been talking power play, ISO, we doing it. My whole thing is, you did all that jawing, bringing that man's name up, and then you turn heel and you don't play? Now, I don't think Embiid as a human being is soft. He's not a soft human being. He's overcome a lot. He's a great person. He does a lot of great things for his family and for other people. It ain't got nothing to do with him as a person. But on the basketball court, boy, that was soft. So you telling me you can keep bringing my name up? You can keep talking about me? But when it's time for us to get at it, when it's time for us to lace them up, when it's time for us to get on the court and play, and I got to get my lick back because you won the first round, and you at my house where I'm 30-4 at home, I'm 30-4 in Denver, but you don't want to play? Man, miss me. Miss me. And how you know it's a big deal? Because I've been watching, because I make content for y'all, because I got to consume the content to put the product on the table for you all, because y'all ain't got time to do it. And if you do it, I want to make sure I can see what you're seeing. So I watch NBA Today. I watch parts of First Take. I watch parts of Undisputed. I watch parts of different shows around the internet. I mean, I'm talking about Eddie Gonzalez and them and Shams on FanDuel. I'm talking about like whatever. Because I want to see what people are saying. I watched a part of The Ringer today. I got a chance to see what Kevin O'Connor and them were saying. I got a chance to see what multiple people were saying. And you know what the common sentiment was? Man, that's kind of funny to me that he did that. So now, not only has his reputation, I think even among some of the players, being looked at kind of funny, but the analysts, the people who are voting, they see what he's doing. And just like last year when he went on that press tour, he's doing it again. People don't know this. People don't realize this. But let me go ahead and remind you. Did you know that last year Daryl Morey and them were sending little gifts, like little letters and stuff to the voters? They were campaigning behind the scenes for Embiid to win the MVP. They may or may not be doing it this year. I don't know. But this year, Embiid decides to go on another press tour, and you decide to bring up Joker's name and use he can't play defense. Use the analytics say he's better than what he is. Use the voters just prefer him. Use why you saying the pressure on me when I ain't the 2-time MVP and I've never been first team All-NBA. Why you asking me all these questions? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Hey, matter of fact, while we at it, Shout out to my boy running back Philly with the super chat. First off, go follow that man. He's one of the best Philadelphia 76er, Philadelphia Eagles content creator there is on the net. He was one of the first people to help put me up on game doing this channel, creating this content. That's my brother. I always remember my brother, so make sure you go and follow him. That's the first thing. But let me also go ahead and answer this question. Bro, I don't never get tired. Now, you know better than ask me a question like that. Just like Jokic been running circles around Embiid for years, I've been running circles around the Philadelphia 76ers market for years, my brother. You know what time it is? That's my dude, though. That's my dude. But no, I will never get tired. Now, let me go ahead and say this. I thought it was so funny that man Embiid did all this jawing and all this talking, and then you don't show up to work. That's just funny to me. That's just funny to me. Now, I'm just saying, if you going to do all this jawing and all this talking, then why can't you just show up on the court and get to the job? Now, everybody's saying, I said it, 3 games and 4 nights is a lot. Well, let me ask you this question then, Doc Rivers. Let me ask you this question then, Daryl Morey. Let me ask you this question then, Joel Embiid. James Harden, he sat out all these games. You were hurt at the halftime of the Chicago Bulls game, and you didn't play the rest of the game. Then you played in a back-to-back versus the Golden State Warriors, lost. You played in a back-to-back versus the Phoenix Suns, lost. And then you have a day off. You had a day off between games when you could have took the day off, the Suns game, and that way you would have missed the Saturday game, and you would have had a Sunday off. You would have had 2 straight days off, and you chose not to do that. That's very interesting. So then not only did you choose not to do that, you then flew to Denver, tried out, warmed up, and you couldn't go. My whole thing is, why play in Phoenix? Because if it's that important to you, why play in Phoenix? You lost anyway. It was a back-to-back. Why don't you play? And then on the other side of this, so you telling me you're going to bring my name up? So if you knew you had an article dropping, which you knew because you did the interview, if you knew you had an article dropping and you knew it was going to drop the day of the game, and you knew you were doing all that talking about why it is so unfair for you, why don't people like you? People think you an a-hole. I'll be the a-hole. People think Jokic better be good at analytics. Jokic can't play defense. He's the 2-time MVP. He's the first-team All-NBA player. Why don't you show up in Denver in his house? And by the way, for all these Philadelphia 76ers fans in here, let me go ahead and tell you like this. Joel Embiid ain't played in Denver since 2019. I wonder why. Now, I will say, I can't confirm that Shams has 100% sourcing, but I'm going to tell you exactly what Shams said today. Do you know what Shams Charania said today? The same dude that Embiid asked to do the interview with in Chicago last Wednesday. Do you know what he said? You know what he said? Shams said that it's known that Joel Embiid doesn't like to play in Denver. What you mean you don't like to play in Denver? Again, this ain't from me, Swipa. Shams, the dude who wrote the Athletic article on Joel Embiid's behalf. Shams said, conversations with Embiid. He don't like to play in Denver. You don't like to play in NBA City. Where you been at? And Joker goes to Philadelphia all the time. Joker had 22, 9, and 8 last game. Embiid had 34, 9, and 4. He went this year. Embiid had 47, 18, and 5, 2 steals and 3 blocks. Dominant game. One of my favorite Embiid games ever. But you telling me you can't handle the altitude? What? Wait a minute. Hey, TDSM 99. Big man can't handle the altitude. Giannis came in, dropped 20 in the first half. I'm trying to figure that out. Giannis played off a back-to-back. Oh, by the way, since we're speaking about Giannis, since we're going to talk about Giannis Antetokounmpo, I've been saying for over a year now that I think Nikola Jokic and Giannis Antetokounmpo are the 2 best players in the NBA. I've been saying this for a year now. And y'all know I'm talking about this. Oh, can you look at this, please? This is what I'm trying to understand. So Giannis Antetokounmpo went and played a full game versus the number one seeded Denver Nuggets and the back-to-back MVP in Jokic on the toughest back-to-back in the NBA, Utah and Denver. The toughest back-to-back in the NBA while hurt. Then he sits versus the Detroit Pistons because they're the worst team in the East. Giannis, knowing the stakes of the game, knowing he wants to measure himself versus the best in the West, knowing they're playing against the back-to-back MVP, knowing he wants to win that award because he wants to be known as the best, knowing all this stuff going on, Giannis decides, bro, I am not going to miss no game versus Joker, even if I got to play through a little bit of an injury. But you telling me, Joel Embiid, I'm going to show up versus the Phoenix Suns and the Golden State Warriors. Wait, now I know why he played against Golden State. You know what I know? Now, obviously, I can't confirm this. You know why he played against Golden State? Because he wanted to ask Draymond Green about Jokic. He didn't even go there to win the game. That was second on his mind. Because if he went there to win the game, there ain't no way that if I lost the game, I'm going to ask you about a question that I didn't pre-plan. He had pre-planned to ask Draymond Green. He said, I want to go in and give Draymond Green my very best effort, which he did. 46, 9, and 8 ain't nothing to sneeze at. Nothing to sneeze at. But then he decided that I'm going to go into this game, play the very best that I can. I'm going to show Draymond. I'm going to prove to Draymond that I'm the toughest cover. No problem with that. But then you lose. And then you ask Draymond Green about Nikola Jokic. Y'all don't find that strange? You don't find that to be interesting? You don't find that to be crazy? That for the third time, we got to hear you publicly asking about Jokic? What? Like, I'm just trying to bring it up. I'm just trying to understand. I see Chill, my dude from Philly who recently graduated, my dude. I got mad respect for Chill, but Chill, help me understand. I'm not worried about Embiid. I'm saying, why Embiid worried about Joker? That's what I'm trying to understand. I'm just. Why is Embiid so worried about Joker? Because he asked Ramona Shelburne about Nikola Jokic. He asked Draymond Green about Nikola Jokic. Now he's talking to Sham Charania about Nikola Jokic. Why y'all keep talking about him? Y'all supposed to be contending in the Eastern Conference. Y'all need to be worried about Giannis. Why? Matter of fact, you need to be asking questions about Giannis. How do we stop Giannis in the playoff series? Hey, Phoenix, you just played against him on Saturday. What did you do wrong versus Giannis Antetokounmpo? Help me to be better. How do I defend him in the playoff in a 7-game series? I need to be asking Steph Curry, not Draymond Green. I need to ask Steph Curry, how did you beat the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals? That's the question I need to ask. That's what you should be going to Phoenix and to. Matter of fact, wait a minute. Time out. Hold up. You went to Phoenix and you didn't even ask them about Giannis. Why would you not just ask them about the dude who beat them in the finals? Because you're going to play him in a 7-game series in the East, maybe in the second round, at least in the conference finals. Ask Phoenix about Giannis. And then, by the way, if you're going to go to Golden State, why are you asking Draymond Green about Nikola Jokic, who they played in the first round series? Why don't you ask him about the Boston Celtics? How do you beat that defense? Because you ain't beat them. They beat you 3 times this year, I believe. You got to face them in the second round or the Eastern Conference Finals, depending on your seeding. So since we're asking questions, since you're taking notes, because you obviously are, why aren't you taking notes about people in your conference? That sounds mighty fishy to me, man. I ain't gonna lie. Now, again, I think Embiid's been incredible. Embiid, on his own merit, if he wins the MVP, he deserves to win the MVP because he is that great. Embiid is that great of a player that for you to be in the running 3 straight years, even if I think you're going to win this year, that shows how great you are. I'm talking about great, historically great that you are. See, that's the difference. I can acknowledge that. He's one of the best two-way players in the NBA. He's one of the best scorers in the NBA. He has been incredible. And he deserves everything in his way. But I want you to hear this. While Embiid is sneak dissing Jokic in articles, while Embiid is bringing up Jokic unprompted, Jokic was asked about Joel Embiid. And this is what Joel Embiid had to say. Sorry, this is what Nikola Jokic had to say about Joel Embiid. I think he's a great player. I think Joel, is going to be remembered as one of the great players in the league. The guy is a beast. He's so talented. He can post up. He can face up. He can shoot threes. He's a good defender. Mike Singer, the guy's a beast. Mike Singer says Nikola Jokic was extremely complimentary of him and how impactful he is on both ends of the floor. But you ask Joel Embiid about pressure being put on him. You ask Joel Embiid about the MVP for him. He's going to bring up Joker. He's going to bring up the 2-time MVP having not won anything. He's going to bring up, why didn't you ask the 2-time MVP how much pressure he got on him? He's going to bring up the fact that I ain't been first-team All-NBA. I haven't won an MVP. He's going to bring up the fact that the analytics is telling you Joker better than what he is. He's going to bring up the fact that the analytics is making it seem like Joker better than me, and that's what the media is buying into because the media has a preference. He's asked a question about him, and he's bringing up Joker. He's flying across the country. He's flying to California. He's flying to Phoenix, and he's asking people about Joker. Come on, man. Let's be serious. All I'm asking, Joel, is that if you're going to do all that talking, city of Philadelphia, if your superstar that you think's a superstar, if your star, your player vying for the MVP, he going to do all that talking, then you need to show up and you need to play. Because you keep asking about Joker. And now you sneak dissing Joker in an article like you writing a laugh lyric, like this is 50 and Ja Rule. But let me go ahead and say this right here and clear. Embiid, you a great player. You an exceptional player. You're going to be an all-time great. You're going to be a Hall of Famer, no doubt. You're going to go down one of the best scoring big men of all time. And your story, amazing. To sit 2 years, to be Rookie of the Year, play like 26 games or whatever else it was and be Rookie of the Year, for you to overcome everything you overcome in your life, tremendous. You ain't never gonna have nothing but respect from me as a man. But as a basketball player, my guy, you keep bringing up that man's name, and he ain't never had no qualms with you. And you keep sneak dissing him, and he ain't never had no qualms with you. My thing is, you want to be better than him, go play better. And I ain't talking about no one game, because Philadelphia 76ers fan, they keep bringing up this 47, 18, and 5 game. And I'm over here like, all right, if that's how you think, that's probably why Embiid feels the way he feels. Because he thinks a one-game sample size is enough. You think beating up against lesser competition is enough. Go do it for 82 games. Go do it in the playoff and stop missing key matchups versus the Nikola Jokic, the back-to-back MVP in his house. because you ain't played in Denver this year when Joker's vying for MVP. You didn't play in Denver last year when Joker was vying for MVP. You didn't play in Denver the year before when Joker was vying for MVP. 3 straight years you have not been available for Denver and Jokic when the time has called for it, but you got enough energy. You got enough about you to be writing articles, sneak dissing this man's name instead of showing up in Denver in the Mile High City to get your lick back. So you doing all that talking. Everybody want to talk when they up. Ain't what Lucas said? Everybody want to talk when they up. You want to talk when the lights ain't bright. You want to talk when it's the regular season. Well, Embiid, go ahead and show everybody in the playoffs how bad you are. I believe you can do it. I want you to do it. But while you over here asking questions to Draymond Green about Joker, you need to be asking questions to Draymond Green about Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. That's who you need to be worried about. While you over here asking people questions and flying around to Phoenix and taking L's, you need to be asking Phoenix about how to stop Giannis. But it is what it is. You know what? Mad respect to Joel Embiid. Mad respect to the city of Philadelphia, the way y'all stand for y'all guys. I love that. I love that. But you know what? Y'all my people, man. I have a mad respect for y'all, man, for real. Because this NBA season, it's been going crazy. It's going to keep going crazy. We got more storylines to talk about. Again, I've said since July, I think this is Joker's MVP. I've been right the last 3 years. He's the first in the West. Better record, more games played, 47-19 record. And he got the Pelicans on TNT, got the Suns on national television. You got the Warriors on national television. You can continue to create separation between you and everybody else. Basketball Reference MVP tracker has been told you since December who the MVP was. NBA.com until the last 2 weeks told you who the MVP was. And I'm pretty willing to bet that by Friday's article coming out from Michael Wright, Jokic's going to be back at the top of that list. But you know what? We're going to find out. We got more to see, y'all. I can't wait. And you know what? I can't wait to see what Joel Embiid has in store because he doesn't sound like he's going to stop talking. And you know what? Joker ain't going to stop playing. So we're going to see what time it is. We're going to see what it do. We're going to see who got it. We're going to see who built the right way. Swipa gang, y'all know what it is. We're going to be here. We're going to keep telling the story. We're going to keep covering the NBA. We're going to keep covering the Denver Nuggets because we all about consistency and we show up when it matters. Tell people we like getting your favorite NBA, NFL content. Shout out to Mile High Sports. Shout out to the episode. Y'all know what time it is, Swipa gang. I will see y'all soon. We out. Keep it moving, y'all.